Well, hey everybody, as y'all can tell, well, let me get a backup view. We'll do this live. Take y'all off here. We'll get a full view. Me and Dad's been working on this thing this morning. He's been helping me a little bit as I do it. Put these planters back on. I've gotten majority of them on, but I happened to think, I was like, dang, I need to be filming this. And I run out of the house and I grabbed the camera right quick. So I'm going to set y'all up to watch me put each piece on. I'm not going to do the whole shoot, trying to speed up everything as we do it, because this is going to be too long of a video. So I'm just going to put a planter on, put a front disc on, mount the springs, one of each, and then shoot that, and then that way y'all can see how to do it, and it's basically times 10 on everything. So let me get y'all set up. So trying to get these bolts through. It can be a little aggravating. There's no more room than there is. I'm gonna have to get underneath this thing to get them in there. I can see what I'm doing. So y'all bear with me through this if y'all will. Okay, so I was going to put cotter pins in these, and I didn't like the way that they wouldn't move with the cotter pins, and so we just put wire through them. He tied it to allow more freedom for it to move, because the old ones that was on this had cotter pins through it that were too big, and it wouldn't allow these to travel. And as the planters come up and down on here, these move in and out. And if they can't move and they bind, it'll break them, these little plastic. So we just put wire through them. Now, I thought that these tubes went down behind here, behind those springs like that, and set, which you probably could get by doing with, and then they hooked into this. But they don't. Somebody tried to do it that way and it didn't work out. The way these actually work is I printed off the book for the clover box and made a book for this thing, and come to find out, these cups have a Y down here, which some of y'all that may own these know that goes here. Well, if y'all can tell, at one time these had rusted off right here, and the people that we bought it from had took a exhaust pipe expander, put inside of these, and made basically a cone to beat down into the old ones where they had broken off, and the Ys that were here, they did away with it. We've never used this clover box as long as we've had it. It's never been on the it was never used. I put it on the machine with the intent of fixing it to use it back yonder, and I never got to, because the Ys were gone and it needed new Ys. So what I did, instead of going and buying those, I made these. They did pretty. It looks like something I'd ordered. Those are Bagwell designed and made. But what it is, I took a straight piece of pipe to drive down inside of the other one that's a little bit smaller, that'll fit snugly down inside this other pipe, and I made me a little nipple off the side at an angle for the seed to drop down in, because these already set like this when you're looking at the machine. So when the hoses come down, it's just going to fall down in, and the other seed are already at this angle to go down in there. So that's what I'm doing. So now I've been putting those down in, see, in here like this. It looks like that, you know, just driving it down in there and then attaching these hoses up to the cups and back down. Now I'm using soft hose. I'd rather had clear plastic so I could see it, but with the way these are designed, you nearly have to have a soft hose so it'll flex when these plows go up and down. These hard rubber hoses is what you see on a lot of them, but for the clover boxes, but they just don't work on these. Well, it's done. I'm so sick and tired of this drain drill. That is not even funny. And I busted my ass today to make sure that I got this thing done. All the seed cups are on, everything. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over, I know this video is probably getting long, but I want to go over an overview of what all we did to it. Well, it's easier to say what we didn't replace or do anything to. I didn't have to do anything to the metering unit or the drive unit for the drill. I didn't have to change nothing there from the axle to the frame. The hubs I didn't rebuild, and I didn't have to do any major repairs to the frame. So the screw box, the shaft that runs through the drill has been fully replaced. Brand new shaft, brand new bearings, brand new cedar gears, and all the pieces all through it are new except for the cedar housing itself is not new. The planters were individually all taken off, went through and repaired anything that was wrong with those. The wheels were all individually repaired and fixed throughout. The recompaction wheels were. All the adjustment pieces for your spring tensions and your depth set are brand new. They're all been rebuilt by hand. All this was done by hand, except for a few pieces that they were done by hand too, that a machinist done. The only thing we bought from Marliss was these cedar cup gear pieces, which, I mean, obviously you're going to have to buy. I bought these rings at Tractor Supply, but I had to hand make those and grind them to fit exactly the way they needed to. And we bought these. Other than that, everything has been hand repaired and hand refurbished, painted, everything. This clover box, we never had the ability to use this clover box. From the time we bought this thing a few years ago, the clover box was just something that came with it that was in bad shape and needed repair. It is now officially able to use it again and working. Everything works with it. All the adjustments work. These little collars are rusted bad on it, but they're okay and they're not allowing it to move or anything. But everything else on it works perfect. The tubes, the down tubes, I had to hand make, as y'all noted, those pieces for the hoses. I went through each and every single one of these and capped them with steel and welded new plates on each side because these had twisted and worn sideways into their bed. The front pre-cut disc have been fully redone with new bearings all the way through every single one of them and new seals. The tension adjustment pieces, these are all brand new. I handmade every single one of these too. Probably half of the disc got replaced on this machine. There's something I'm going to need to change. I gotta swap it and that other one out. But all those have been replaced and made new. These were repainted. These flickers that go in there were repainted. One of those actually had broken and I repaired it. The letters have all been repainted. The tank's been repainted, or the grain bin's been repainted. Everything from the ground up has been redone, just about. Other than just a few little things, and it's all been done by me, except for just a few pieces I had to get a machinist to make for me that weren't available anymore, or they were going to cost me an arm and a leg for nothing. So it is fully redone, and I am tired of this thing. The only thing I have not done yet is I have not wired these lights in, and the reason why I have not done that yet is because I have to get a plug that fits the tractor style plugs that fit these. Haven't had a chance to go buy one yet. When I get that, I'm going to wire these in fully and run the wires and fish them to where they won't make contact with the chains or anything. New chain on this one. The other ones were still in good shape, their chains were, so I didn't replace those. But these tensioners were never used since we've owned it. The chains have never had the tensioners on them, so that's something new that I went ahead and done, is I tightened the chain tensioners down, and that's pretty well it. The hydraulic cylinders have just were rebuilt, I think, a year or two ago, so they didn't need anything, and I'm hoping it stays that way. And that's it. A few of the wheels I put a new wheel bearings in, and then the rest I hand repaired and refilled in the worn out wheel casings where the bearings weren't worn, but the wheels would flex on these, and they're not doing that anymore. This is one that I did not repair, but it wasn't that bad. Here's one I did. As you can tell, it's tight. But I mean, this one's got a little bit, but it's not enough to even hurt nothing and whatnot. But all that's in videos if y'all want to go back and look at it. Everything is done. Nobody ever asked me to rebuild a grain drill for at least 10 years. I don't want to redo another one of these. I redone this one to save us money because we couldn't afford to buy a new one, because they're like $20-something thousand for one of these things, and they do basically nothing. As far as expensive stuff, there's hardly nothing to these things. We were going to buy a hay buster. That's what we were going to buy, but they're too expensive. So I just redone this one, and honestly, as far as parts, we probably might have, if we got $2,000 worth of parts in this thing to rebuild it, it would surprise me. And I mean, you can't, I mean, if I had to go buy this thing new, you're looking at probably anywhere from $15,000 to $20-something thousand for one of these. A good used one's not far from that. So I mean, that's the reasoning for doing it. But if somebody would have had to hired this done, and they would have had to pay the labor to do this, oh my God, You could have bought a new one nearly for what I've got in time in this thing, but it's my time and it didn't cost me nothing to spend my time in it. And I have spent hours and hours redoing the stupid thing. And I am very proud of what I have accomplished here. This thing looks great compared to the way it looked before. And if you want to see how it looked before, go back in the earlier videos and you can see it when I first started taking it apart and how bad everything was and how it looked. But I'm not rebuilding another one. This is it for me. And another one in the next 10 years. After 10 years, I'll probably forget how difficult it was, and then I might be a little more willing, but no. Holy crap. I individually painted everything from the plow to the springs to the box. I mean, nightmare. I went and bought a spray gun just to paint this thing and learned how to use a spray gun like professionals use to paint stuff. And this was the first thing I've ever painted. And I learned how to do all that just to do this. So thanks for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this this saga of a drill here, but that's it. I'm done with it. I'm not doing anything else. I'm tired of this thing. It has worn me out, and I'm so proud that this thing's done, and I hope it works out good because I put a lot of hard work in it, and it does look very good. To me anyway, it looks nearly new. So I mean, as far as the looks is a perk, but ultimately it's how it works, and we're going to find that out in about a month and a half. I will tell y'all, and y'all will see all the videos of this thing and how well it works. So see y'all later. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. I've got to go to the grocery store now with my wife.